Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show, live here in Houston, Texas. And the man who is going to be calling Super Bowl 51 just steps down the street, has joined us right here. He's also the host of Undeniable, which returns for Season 3 right here on Audience Network. 2 Wednesdays after the Super Bowl, the 15th of February, none other than the hit king himself of Major League Baseball, Pete Rose, will be the guest of Joe Buck. Good to see you, Joseph.
How are you, buddy?
I'm fine. You know, it kind of hit me. The last Super Bowl for Fox that you did not call was Brady's first win. What Summerall and Madden did that day. That's the last one for Fox that you did not call.
We were just talking about that last night at dinner that, you know, John Madden got a lot of criticism for the end of that game. I don't know the exact 35 seconds, something left, where the game was tied 17-17. Brady, excuse me, who drops out of the sky. And nobody knows that Brady is going to be Brady. And he says, you know, they should basically play for overtime. But that's kind of the job we have. You know, you have to make a comment in real time. Now, if Brady drops back and throws an interception, Madden's hailed as the greatest analyst he already is anyway, of all time. But when you make that comment, and then after the fact, they end up winning the game, well, everybody goes back and says, well, what's John Madden talking about? Of course they go down and win the game. And that's kind of the high wire act that you're doing when you do these games. And man, you better be right if you want to step out there with an opinion. So I say good for Madden, and hopefully we'll be willing to make statements that are somewhat critical at times and have an opinion, and that's the best we can do.
And now you're calling your 5th Super Bowl for Fox, and the 3rd also including Brady and Belichick. You know, you had the Tyree catch, your second one. Your first one was when they beat Donovan McNabb and the Eagles. Now here we are again. It really is unbelievable. I don't think we're going to ever see a quarterback in 7 Super Bowls ever again. I think you can safely say something like that.
I agree, and I think you start looking at the body of work for Bill Belichick, and I don't consider myself, you know, even hardly an acquaintance of Bill Belichick. I mean, you don't really get to know him, especially for me, not doing Patriot games very often. It just seems like on these huge stages we're doing them. But I think you make the case that compared to Lombardi, Landry, Knoll, Hallis, you know, all the great Shula, all the great coaches in the history of the league, to do what they've done over this amount of time in the salary cap era with free agency and all the moving pieces, I think you put it at the top of the list as far as coaching body of work. He and the Patriots, Brady and Belichick, it's just unheard of.
What's it like for you a minute before you go on the air? You know you got the country sitting down essentially, getting ready to watch and listen to you.
It's a rush. I mean, it's you know, it's something that you really can't succumb to that voice in your head that's telling you, hey, in 45 seconds you're about to be on in front of 120 million people. If you did, you know, it's like, and I've joked about it, when somebody says, hey, whatever you do, don't look down, people look down. Hey, this is a really hot plate, don't touch it. You touch it, and you cannot give in to that voice because it would just lock you up, and you have to kind of just act your way through the opening stages. And once the game starts, you feel like you're doing a game, but the acting part of it beforehand and that stupid stand-up where the 2 announcers are talking that nobody's ever listened to in the history of the world is actually really an intimidating part of the process.
Joe Buck here on the Rich Eisen Show. If I'm not mistaken, it is also the 2nd consecutive Super Bowl you're calling coming off of a Game 7 of World Series you also called. I do believe that happened the last time, too. You called Game 7 of Royals and Giants.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And then you called the game in New York City between Manning and the Seahawks. I tell you this all the time. I mean, like Kurt Gowdy, I think, is the only other human being that called a Game 7 in a Super Bowl in the same season. And then you're coming off of an all-time great with the Chicago Cubs, too.
Yeah, I just
you're on
don't
a roll,
know.
Joe, is basically what I'm pointing out right here.
It's been a crazy year. And, you know, then the book came out, and that's done well.
Lucky bastard.
Lucky bastard.
Speaking of which, how was your conversation with Stern the other day?
Great. It was... I think
that's bucket list stuff, Joe.
It took some convincing to get him to agree to interview for an hour and 10 minutes a person he'd probably never heard of.
Right.
And he's not a sports fan.
No, he's not.
But we have a lot of parallels. I mean, you know, our dads were both kind of in the business. My dad, an announcer, his dad, a radio engineer. He got married young. He had daughters. I did the same. We're both on our second wife. Mine, thanks to you.
And that's where you and Stern part ways, because I had nothing to do with
You
him.
were not there for he and Beth. Contrary to popular belief.
You have a fart man character that you.
What's that?
You have a fart man character as well.
No,
I do have a
like to
fart man
portray?
character,
Yeah.
and I do have kind of the assless,
Assless
tights thing.
chaps. Yeah.
Yeah, I will never. I don't wear them in public, but around the hotel room preparing for the Super Bowl, I will throw those on.
Attaboy.
Just to relax.
Why not? Yeah, just to get you
Just
set.
to relax.
Just to get you set.
Just to get me centered.
Yes, you put that on one pant leg at a time. That's for sure. And
Carefully.
I know you went over prop bets with him. We have our own here on the show.
I'd rather hear your own. I'm not that impressed with.
Oh, we got some good ones.
We've got some
for you.
good
Joe,
ones.
we got you covered.
And you are critical in 3 of our 8.
Yeah. Would you like
Okay.
to? And you could plead the 5th if you want to.
But
not,
are you looking for me to give you the answer as far as will I say it?
If you want to, feel free.
Yes and
Go
no.
for
Joe.
it.
Yes and no.
Because I'm willing to tell you.
Of
One
course.
of the prop bets is my beard gonna be on? Yes, my beard's gonna be. Nobody checked with me for any of this stuff, so I don't feel bad.
Well, that's why we have you here. We're about to check with you on
okay,
some
but
just
what
the Rich
color's
Eisen
my
show.
tie? And am I gonna say Matty Ice?
No. We're way more
Oh.
creative. Way
No,
more
no,
creative.
These are fantastic.
Okay. And
Believe me.
like I said, feel free to plead the 5th if you want to. Okay.
Okay.
Joe Buck about to go over the Rich Eisen Show Super Bowl 51 prop bets. Play the music, the Fox music. There we go. Make you feel right at home there, Joe.
I wish I could hear all this. I wish I could hear you guys. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, we're here amongst the Sturm and Drang, if you will, of the NFL experience. All right. The number of actual promos you must read
Ooh.
for Skip Bayless's show. We have the line at 0.5. 0.5.
That's a fair line. I'm going to say under.
Did anybody choose the over on that one?
I took the over actually because I said.
But you're cheering the under right
money
now.
trumps all.
Yeah, that's what I
these
thought,
suits
too.
might make
I mean, come on. I have a relationship with the guy to my right. I have
That's
no
what we're
relationship. I have no relationship
is
with the guy in
is
the
there a
promo.
pop-up graphic?
Yeah, but he has
No, that doesn't
No, but
count.
he
It
has
doesn't
to
matter.
say
I swear to God, I
Okay.
have no idea.
But he's got to read the promo out of Joe Buck's.
Yeah,
And not a
It's
drop down like one of those lower
just
thirds.
all right.
Yeah, it ain't
Here we go.
happening.
All right, here's another one that we're Arthur Blank's sideline cutaway. Do you think he shows up on the sideline? Yes or no? With that game.
Are they winning or losing? If they're winning, he's on the sideline.
Okay. How long is your hang time going to be after the final call? For instance, do you know how long you laid out after the Cubs won the World Series? We timed it. We
I do
actually
not
timed
know.
it. 1 minute and 20 seconds. You also, in the blowout loss, he's now looking at me like we're creeping him out,
Him
but it's
out.
okay.
There's
We needed to
research.
do this.
Research.
We
Research.
researched these prop
Research.
bets.
Okay.
It took you 40 some odd seconds, even after the blowout victory for the Seahawks over the Broncos. We have set the line of your final hang time called 51 seconds. Do you think you're over or under on that?
It depends on honest to God, it depends on the quality of the game. I mean, I think if it's just sitting there and nobody's making any noise, it'll be under.
Okay.
But I can't answer because if there's an actual crowd element and there's a crowd noise and people are crying
Yes.
and, you know,
If Giselle
cats
is
are hugging
strangling
dogs.
Roger Goodell, you'll just lay out, right? If that
Yes.
happens.
If it
Yeah,
is-
I would let that play out.
By the way, if it's a blowout, I'm going to be texting you to remind you to go over 51 seconds.
Okay, bet the over. You can influence these by texting me during
Absolutely.
the game.
I don't have your number.
Here's
Joe,
another
so I
one.
can't-
Number of
That's by
times.
design.
Yeah.
Here's one that you'll definitely be able to handle, and then we'll give you one more. The words wardrobe malfunction said during the broadcast 1.5 times.
Easiest under of all time.
That's what I said.
Someone's helmet pops off, you're not going to go
The irreverent-
wardrobe malfunction for.
No, because when you go down those paths in a game like this, then I become the jackass on social media. Like, I'm trying to be funny in the cathedral that is the Super Bowl. So, no.
But this
Okay.
isn't just you. This is Troy or
Stop
Aaron
trying to
Andrews.
influence.
Yeah.
He's giving his
Anyone.
answer.
Do you really
Well,
think
you're
Troy
already
Aikman's
0
going to
for
say
2.
wardrobe malfunction?
That's what I told
Yeah,
you.
you're already
I really
over 2.
misjudged all
Now,
these.
also because you know Mike Del Tufo for years from your years at Fox.
First show we ever mixed.
Here's the last prop.
This is a great one.
He says he's going to get a selfie with Lady Gaga this week. Yes or no? Do you think he's going to pull off that feat?
Now, I've done it with
Where she's
3 or
aware
4
of the photo
halftime
happening.
performances.
She has to be aware.
She has to be
it's
aware
happening.
that Mike Del
Yeah.
Tufo is going to get within striking distance, if you will, to fire off a selfie, or as we're calling it, a Delphi.
Now, Joe, just so you know, I have Springsteen, I have Beyonce, and I have the Black Eyed Peas already done. So
The only one that impresses me out of that is Beyonce. I mean, Springsteen's like a normal guy. Black Eyed Peas, that's a group. I defy you to tell me that all of the Black Eyed Peas, all 4.
no, I had Fergie and
Okay.
So you just had a P. You had a couple P's.
Yeah, a couple
black.
of peas out of the
So
whole
is that
pod.
a no? Is that a no? You don't think he's going to pull
I'm going
off
to say absolutely not.
That's it. I took that too. By the way,
There's no way.
one of our consumers of the show at Stephen M. Vasquez says we should be calling it the Del Selfo, which I like it.
I like that.
Firing off the
Genius.
Del Selfo,
Del
not the
Selfo.
Delphi.
I like that. No, that's not going to happen. Her security, she's kind of a little different bird, I think. But she did take a selfie with my daughters at Wrigley during the
it's
World
possible.
Series, and they said she couldn't have been nicer. So
I'm telling you.
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, but
so.
your daughters are well-mannered people who don't come across as
If
perhaps
I were
threatening
her
like
and
this
you
guy.
came to me,
I'm going to be wearing a full suit on Sunday and stuff. I'm going to look like, I'm telling you.
that's
It's gonna
odd
be-
right there. Why? Why are you wearing a full?
I'm joking. I'm
Okay,
joking,
good.
I'm joking.
Oh man, have a great time at the broadcast.
Is that it?
Yeah, Undeniable is on audience. Pete Rose, Cal Ripken, Terry Bradshaw, Roger Clements, Dennis Rodman. There's nothing to talk about with Dennis. He's got nothing
I'm
going on.
telling you,
there.
Dennis Rodman is the greatest study of somebody's changing personality over 2 hours. I thought he was going to walk off the set, bawling, crying. He went from, well, I couldn't understand a word he was saying. And I had to calm him down. And I said, we can just sit here. It's a taped show.
Yeah.
Just gather yourself. Gave him another standing ovation. He broke down again. And then he got into it. And by the end, he's one of my favorite interviews. He's unbelievable. He was great.
I can't wait for that one on Undeniable. Audience Network Season 3 again begins February 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And thank you for being at the Summerall Award tomorrow night.
Oh, of course. When they're honoring you, brother, I would
Thanks.
not miss that. I get to be the one to hand to you a piece of hardware that I have in my house, and if it's the same piece of hardware, I am excited to find out how you get it home.
Is it really?
It's a weapon. It weighs about 400 pounds. It's made of glass, like it's from the island of Murano outside of Venice. It is. It's an unbelievable piece of art.
Well, I can't wait to have you be there and be the one to hand it to me tomorrow night. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
That's Joe Buck right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Still to come here on the show, we've also got Steve Mariucci, Dan Marino, Terrell Davis in hour number 3.
Is Mariucci going to scream the entire time like he does on NFL Network? I worry for him.
Do you know what? He's turning into Chris Farley in his older age.
I just worry he's going to.
He's so excitable.
I know.
This
I
week,
love him.
we're going to give him a Houston Texans cheerleaders calendar as well. So just,
good.
'cause
So
he
he,
collects those.
like a combination of that and Lee Corso. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Joe Buck, check him out on Super Bowl 51. Why don't you on Fox this Sunday? Back with more here from Houston in a moment.
Yeah.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.